Hello, everybody, and welcome to another episode of Pro Wrestling Sim, where the CPU kind of takes over, but doesn't really take over because I've been kind of taken over because of CPU doesn't really book a show that well. Um, Overall, it didn't have, to be example, I didn't have storylines, and then I hit the auto book to see if it would implement the storylines, and it did not. So I just kind of took over and was kind of booking shows with these storylines. At least what's nice about that is if you were to be in the pre book, you have active storylines right there. Um, and we have the atmosphere backstage is great. I am pleased with how this is going because of at first the backstage morale was pretty um, I would say rough because we had Andre Freeman, Jada, like Stephanie Browning, and like two others that had like -11, -10, -8, -6, kind of like Samira right now, but it's only one person. And as of right now, we have Basile that we re signed and was thinking of not re signing him because he has bad chemistry as a team with Dylan. And he has a bad chemistry as an opponent for Jonathan Robinson, and those are kind of not necessarily the meat and bones of our promotion here, but it's like 2 out of 10 to 11 guys. That's quite a bit of a um, deal of what's going on right now because I'm trying to limit the amount of expenses to make money, and that's the kind of goal of this series is once we kind of make money, it's kind of the end, but it may not be the end because of I may see if we can get that networking deal, if we can get a TV deal and stuff like that and see how long it will take. And we've been doing each quarter of the year, so per 3 um, events is basically the video. I was going to do a year, but like I've mentioned before, they've became like an hour long episode, and that I don't want to make it 2 to 3 hours of, you know, for you guys to watch for a year long that you probably won't watch the full thing. So just wanted to break it down and break it down to the 3 months and call her good because emails pop up in the middle and stuff like that. And yeah, I could edit that out, but overall, then it's like people who are new to the game that you can buy on Steam. They want to see the full fledged of how the game works and everything. Well, then they don't get the full effect. So overall, right now, my roster, I um, did add some titles. I added a mid championship title, and that is about it. I kept the trio titles. I did end up not. I did end up um, seeing if I could vacate the trio championships, and I can. Um, if you were to go to titles, and with Iker and Hassan being faces and then Dylan end up being a heel, it just doesn't make sense. So you can edit the title and you can either like obviously cancel all your changes, you can vacate the title, retire the title, and save changes. Well, we're going to vacate the title, and that's all you would have to do. So there's no one for that, and that is vacate as of right now as well. And these three were also contributing to the negative morality within the promotion. So it wasn't kind of their fault, but I wanted to make it where we have great morale within backstage because that's what will help you create the best product, and that's what you want. And we've been finance wise, we've had 2 shows back to back towards the end of the year that full fledged went 100 people that came to the show, which is a good sign. We will continue on to the next event, and I kind of looked and see if there was any workers I could, talk to, potentially, grab. I see Andre signed with Alpha Pro. At first it said begin negotiations. I knew I couldn't because I looked before, and they have a written contract, and most of the time when it's a written contract, it's an exclusive contract that they can't sign with anyone else. Hunter Hansen is there, but then I was looking at Sammy Andrews. That does have a negative impact with Hunter Hansen. He is unemployed right now. And some of them give like the bios and stuff because of they are part of the default game, and as the game goes on, this game will AI generate new superstars every month or so. So it does add new referees, new announcers, new backstage staff, new wrestlers, and stuff like that all the time, because it's like a revolving door. It's gonna people are gonna retire, and they're gonna need people to replace. So I kind of looked at Sammy Andrews. He is obviously a main eventer. He's got star power 71, so he's unemployed, so he hasn't been with somebody in so long. He has 92 wrestling skill, 82 entertainment and stuff, and that's what we would want. Psychology of 100, stamina of that, and all that jazz. So I was looking at this, and I was like, this is a no-brainer. We'll give him kind of a I gotta look. Toughness, driven, can be annoying. First to keep to themselves, known to be sensitive, locker room leader, wrestling lifer, in a relationship with outside. So we'll give him wholesome face as a face. We'll give it for 2 years. It's $3,000 per month, so at least it's way different compared to Andre Freeman, who is $50,000 per month. We'll give it to him. We'll make that offer. He accepts it. So hopefully, if he ends up being a negative morality within that backstage, we will remove him. But he is providing backstage. He's providing order backstage. So right now, it's 100%. So my roster, adding Sammy Andrews. Oh, he's a staff. Okay. So he's 100% agent. He's backstage staff. I thought he was a wrestler. But then we'll just add him. Austin James. We'll keep him, because if we were to release him, that could minimize the overall. Has he been? Is that 97? Or is that 99? Almost 99.5. So he's up there. So what we could do is have Sammy Andrews be like the main event, like upper mid card main event, and Austin James be the lower card matches, and see how that goes. I didn't realize he was a staffer. I thought he was a wrestler. But so we added one more backstage staff. We could look to see if there is a wrestler available. Like Chris Manson here. He's known to have anger issues, narcissistics. I probably don't want him around because he's narcissistic and stuff like that. And I just, with now that we have that in order, I don't want to add seems to be negative morality within the locker room, and that is something I don't want to have around. He is a wrestler. Big partier, considered social among others, driven can be annoying. Groovy vibe backstage, don't want that. Known for their pranks, known to be sensitive, strong interests outside of wrestling, and driven to be the best. He has 83. I could add him, but we'll see if there's any more. Brett Storm, anxious, best, charitable towards others, fitness fanatics, keep to themselves, strong interests outside. Okay. Oh, he's a staff. Oh, so he's like a personality. Entertainment crowd reacts well to the style. This style is less damaging to the body of the worker. This style is less damaging to the body of the opponents. Matches with this style are less likely to be a show stealer. But it says he's a staffer because he's retired. Wrestler 33. Strong style. I can't negotiate with her. I'm trying to pick if I can pick up someone else. Max Champion. Seems to be negative, but he is a locker room leader and he's retired, so. Cowboy, can't. And Chuck. A wrestler, strong style. Trying to eliminate South America. His birthplace, North America, based in South America. Okay, we could. Oh, okay. We can't. Maybe we'll do filters. It's a wrestler. We'll do look at a male. Hireable. Let's do hireable. Apply filter. Availability. So Scott, I think he was the. I mean, I could try and see. Michael Davis. He's with a lot of promotions, and it seems like he's from. Oh, I know what I should. Hireable, and then add filter. Based in North America. Apply. So you could see it's 550,000. Okay, so we are not going to sign him. He's going to be selfish, but he's a heel basically. I'm going to say he's a cocky heel. So we kind of need more heels. We got so many faces. So I'm just adding one wrestler before we get really going. 31, cruiserweight, North America. He's got 11 years. He's traditional. Stuff like that. Wrestling skill 87. And star power 73. So he'd be that. And we would ask him that. And he would be a main event, so. That's all we need. We're kind of slowly hiring people as we go. With availability of wrestlers and matchups and stuff. So if we auto book as of right now, we won't need the trio championships. So that went by pretty smoothly. No emails to answer. And then it would be the next episode we would invite a female. It's only one every so often, and then I feel like the roster is pretty full once it gets to 20 people. And we are kind of set. Alright, so we are at match day. So, what we could do is, storyline wise, we had angle involving them to, because it was a match and then an angle where Max, or no, I think the latest one was Max versus Iker. Was that, and then that was the latest thing. And then same with, or was it? Yeah, it's the most, the bottom one, because I remember, because if we were to go to, past events, event histories, and you can look this up. So if you go to event histories and you know when your event is on the month of how you scheduled it in events, you can go to the month, and as you can see, some of them are weekly stuff. So it seems like I could, or I should be, booking mine on Thursdays, because Thursday there's nobody, but it's also an at a event. It's not on TV. So we did get, we sold out. So we had a couple angles in the pre-show. So Leslie Bryan did something in the pre-show, and that was her promo. So that was the latest thing, but I don't think it was involved in her storyline, because if we were to go to the storyline, there was no 19%, but overall, Max Grassi and Iker, 48% and then 43%, so that was the latest thing for that. And then Hannah Wong against Emmy Yee, because of Leslie O'Brien doing a promo, and then Hannah Wong versus Emmy Yee. Was thinking, hey, maybe she would get a win and kind of boost up the stuff and everything, but that didn't happen. Then we had an angle with that, and then hardcore duo, so Dylan and Basile, Eagle Lewis with him winning, and then the latest was Celia and Arabella Baxter with Luis coming out of, or kind of being in the area. So we've added Sammy and Moses. So Moses, he was unemployed. It doesn't seem like he has any recent match history. You can click on that. You can see relationships. So he is new. So we are going to add an angle for him and do a video package for 5 minutes. We'll do that. I didn't even look at the backstage morale. 98. Doesn't seem like he adds anything. But I think adding him into it, it kind of just offsets it a little bit. So, back to the office, click on that. So we got Moses Klein in there. And then we could have, is Luis a, I think she is a heel. So we could have Emmy Yee. We'll have her wrestling again against Eloise. And then Cecilia will be there. It'll be a 10-minute match. We'll do Sammy Andrews do this whole thing, and then purpose to make Luis look good. It's kind of the main point of it, the main show. We have Anthony Wilson. We could have him face. He's a face though. Luis is a face. Heel. So we'll add a match to tag team. Luis and Christian. Sammy Andrews. We'll have that as a 10-minute match. We'll make it a non-title match. We'll kind of be setting up for that. We could have a match, Basile and Dylan, even though they don't work well with each other, against they were a trio tag team, so we're gonna go with Son, Iker. Options. Gotta take it easy. Automatic. Purpose. Let's say to make Basile look good. Go Sammy Andrews. Gonna make it a 15-minute match. Put that towards the beginning. But then we'll have Angle of Max Rossi, Anthony. That for 5 minutes, but I think we'll also have an entrance with Max for 2, and we'll attack him, and then so 15. That will start the show. Gonna also add an angle of entrance with Leslie O'Brien. Do that. She's gonna talk, not attack. Talking. Minutes. Do that. Make that 8. And entrance for Hannah. And Where'd she go? There she is. Five, 11, 13. 11, 13, 15. Perfect. Put those guys towards the end or after that. We also put them on ringside for that. So right now we're at 4,000. Not that I'm really paying attention on paying attention to whatchamacallit, budget. So Tegan. We're gonna have Tegan versus Arabella. I think they faced their terrible chemistry as opponents, so I'm not gonna put them together again. So we'll do that. We'll add a match. Could add it's pre-show, to be honest. St. Andrews. No title. That. Put that. Bryce Boyer hasn't been used in a while. It's the last. Oh, he had a match all with Christian Gaines, so he was used September and December. It's just an odd one. He had good chemistry with Ignacio Schmidt, but he dragged the backstage morale. I mean, I could bring him back if he's available, and he is. We'll do that. Because otherwise, room leader. Because otherwise then Bryce Schmidt can be, them two can be a tag team together. So wrestling skill has gone up. He hasn't wrestled since June. We'll begin negotiations. We also need to change Bryce Boyer then. He's a face right now. Anxious toughness, driven to be the best. Room leader, so we can. It's a heel. Submit plans. We can do that in the pre-show. And then do that. It's a heel. Give him that. So 2 years, 5 travel expenses. So we'll bring you back for this reason. This reason only. So then we'll look at backstage morale. He had negative 19 presence. Okay. Alright. So that's why I removed him. But I know it's up and down. Like, we could remove Samira because she's kind of like the odd woman out. But within this, what we're going to do is we're going to add Angle, pre-show, entrance to Bryce Boyer. And then he's going to cut a promo. Six minutes. Then gonna have an entrance. Or not a promo, he's gonna be talking. That's what he's gonna be doing. Where is he? Bryce Boyer. He's gonna be talking. Makes their entrance, and then the hardcore duo have the tag titles right now. Or do they not? But I need to add. Do it right there. Either that or do it like that. Oh, I gotta change it to the main show. So that. And then could do post show matches made. There. There we have it. Confirm. All right. So we bring back Ignacio, and I know in this video you're like, hey, you removed him because of the -19. Well, in this case, Bryce Boyer was the odd man out, and it's a huge failure. But anyway, it needed to happen for him to turn heel, because otherwise it's a heel and a face on a tag team, and him and Ignacio are a tag team caliber team because they work well with each other. 40%, but it is the pre-show, and then we actually have the actual show. So we have Max Grassi, slightly better crowd with a little bit more momentum. He comes in, talks about Anthony Wilson, then he gets attacked, and then he gets medical treatment after that. So they both gain 0.1. Then we have the first match with Sammy Andrew, the newly acquired backstage person. But we have Dylan getting the win, so that made that better. Then we have, even though Basile and Dylan have bad chemistry, which hurt the match, but they've been tag teaming. So Basile, given it was such huge, they pushed themselves. The crowd loved it. And then Sammy Andrews did the heavy lifting with that. 33% crowd reaction, 2.5 star, 71% match quality, and 52% adjusted final score. Then we have Tegan versus Arabella Baxter. Arabella Baxter wins. Tegan lost the match, but the crowd were enjoying it. 48% crowd reaction with 1.5 star match, 58%, and 53% final score. And Arabella gained 0.3 from it. Then we have Leslie and Hannah. Hannah's been kind of on the downward spiral of losing the last 2 matches she was in the last 2 events. And so it would have been better if she had a little bit more momentum. She's kind of went down in star power. But anyway, Leslie didn't gain anything, but Hannah lost 0.1, 24%. They were in a verbal sparring match against each other. In that regards, then we have Emmy Yee against Eloise, kind of with the whole storyline with Celia and Eloise. Emmy Yee, I guess, performance was much worse than normal, but yet she managed to, and so was Eloise. But Emmy Yee managed to win over Eloise. The crowd were in love with it. Sammy did the heavy work. 44%. Match quality 65% with the 2-star match and 54%. Then we have the newly acquired Moses Klein, who is a heel singles competitor, gained 0.2 from it, and an 80%. Then we have a non-title contention match with Lewis Collin and Christian Gaines. Seemed like everything went well. Workers worked to push themselves, and it seemed like it helped with Sammy Andrews of helping them. So 33% crowd reaction, 2.5 star match with 72% match quality and 53% final score. Then we have this last bit post show that all these guys gain 0.1 of Emil makes a match involving Edward Russell, Jonathan, Bryce Boyer, and Ignacio for the next event. So we have 40, would have been a 51. We gained 0.2 in popularity in North America. If we were to move to like South America and all that jazz and did all that transportation, then we would gain like 0.2 in that area, which obviously I'm not wanting to move in different locations when we haven't made a profit, or at least close to making a profit. We're still in our negative. And you think, why are you still hiring people then if you're still in negative? But in order for me to move to the right direction, German Crazy Wrestling Extravaganza sold 100 tickets, so we got 1,500 out of that. So that is our email. So that is a good sign with that. Now we are in February, and hopefully we don't get much emails. We haven't gotten an email yet, but we could any day now. So it is their third time of getting full house sold out. Title match, Era Baxter, Bella Baxter. Could be. Could accept it. Could be part of this deal that we have with Luis and Celia. They've been doing pretty well. We should probably look and see what their rating is right now for their storylines. As we do, so we have 61 heat for that, 41% heat for that, and then Leslie 43. So right now, Celia and Eloise have some pretty good heat going on within their storyline. We have 1 day, so we are going to proceed to the next day, and it is time to book. So, I think I've been strategizing booking Celia and Eloise pretty good then, I would imagine. So we're going to add we're going to add for sure the hardcore duo, match gimmick nothing, the title on the line, Sammy. It's going to be it's not a post show, it's a main show match. 15 minutes, automatic, purpose, steal a show, make history. Just normal match. We'll have that. Workers. And not Basile, but we're gonna have them, to be honest. There, Bryce Boyer. Save, because we're gonna add an angle with Basile and Dylan. They're gonna have an entrance for 2 minutes. Start talking. And they're gonna have a promo. And then it's gonna be hardcore duo. So we're gonna be like, hey, we're gonna be going for you because they did Hassan and Iker. They beat them. So alright. We'll have that. We'll also have Celia faced MIE, or MIE and Eloise lost, and so did Celia Jackson. Oh, because she was part of that. And then Arabella Baxter. So I think it's time for her to put title on the line. I get 10 minutes. Put Sammy Andrews there. So that will be good. sometimes if they talk and stuff, it's a lot easier. So we'll just have that to begin the show. Because obviously he attacked him, so we're going to give Max the week off. We're going to add another video. So he will be coming shortly. Moses. Elevated. For that. So then also add an angle of, he's calling it promo. Probably add him. Before that. They just faced recently. That's that. We're gonna add talking about Leslie. 5 minutes. Towards the beginning. They're being used for that. We'll have Iker, Christian do pre-show 10-minute match. Oh. That. Add a match. We could have Leslie, Arabella. This is her. And Anna Wong. Just for the sake of it. Kind of spice things up. Oh, nah, for the pre-show. The main show. Them right there. It's gonna be Bryce and Ignacio. Let's call it and Ignacio. There. There's that. Got a match there. That. Tag matches will give 5 extra minutes. Tag match. Doesn't need to be longer. I mean, this could be 10 minutes, but that doesn't need to be that long. Except for one being, Emmy. Face against Tegan. I think they've wrestled before. Yeah. Tegan Stout won. Could add him again. Sammy. Tegan look good, like a threat. There. There we go. Now we can start the show. So we have a pre-show match with Iker and Christian. Iker was much better than usual. Sammy did quite a bit for them, and Christian had a intimidating presence. 39% crowd reaction, 3.5-star match, and a 59% final score. So kind of one of those dark matches. Then we have Anthony with Max Grassi. You know, obviously he attacked him and everything, so kind of like giving him a month's break and just talking about him, talking about the whole entire thing. 39% final score. Then we have Samira wins the match with Leslie O'Brien and Hannah Wong being in the match with Arabella Baxter and Samira, even though Samira and Arabella have terrible chemistry as opponents, but when they have the tag teams together, I guess it's not mentioned here. The star power of Samira, and then Samira performance is better than usual. Sammy Andrews' agenting really helped Hannah and helped Samira, and I would imagine he helped everybody within that. So 43% crowd reaction, 2.5-star match, 72% match quality, and 58%. Then we have a basically promo because of Basile and Dylan won against Iker and Hassan, and they've been winning, and they're kind of like, hey, if you guys still have the tag team titles, we're coming after you. We've been winning. We should, obviously have those titles again. So they're trying to win their way back, even though they kind of have a rematch clause, but it was already decided that Bryce Boyer and Ignacio Schmidt that I re-signed came back all of a sudden, and now they have a tag team title match, so now they're kind of furious about it. So they wanted to, talk about it. 54%. And Ignacio and Bryce Boyer do win the tag titles. So Edward and Jonathan did lose them, but they do have incredible chemistry together as a tag team. So it will be kind of heel on heel when it comes to Dylan and Basile kind of trying to get the titles. But overall, it was 40%. The vocal crowd were in love with the segment. 3-star match, 77%, and 58% final score. So it probably would have been higher if our production was up, but it was not. So Sammy did pretty well with doing what he needs to do to help them out. Then we have Moses Klein. He has been in a couple of videos. He will end up showing up on a show when I book it that way, and that will be that. We have Tegan and MEE. MEE came in clutch with, there was a big spot that the crowd was on their feet. It brought it to another level. So Sammy Andrew helped both of them, or at least Tegan, and he did the heavy lifting for the match. 59% crowd reaction, 2-star match, 63% and 61% final score. Sammy winning. Then we got Lewis Calling making a promo because he is the heavyweight champion and stuff, and kind of, talking out there and everything, and trying to, get everybody around to support him. Then we finally have a match where the title has changed. Luis is the new champion, but the rivalry is not over. It won't be. It's not at that level yet. It has to be at like 80%. It's up there. It was at 61, but it's not up there yet. Luis is the new champion. Sammy Andrews' agency helped Celia. They put on a good match. The whole crowd were in love with it. 37%, 71%, 2.5-star match, and 54% final score. And we have 40% game point 2, and it would have been a 57. And we had 11 people. So that is 4 times in a row we had $1,500 towards our bank account. And that is pretty good overall. So the next show we will be booking to the next available building and be there for probably a while. Because we keep, getting that 1,500 and we want more money, obviously. And so, there's an email, title win. Time has come. You have the title, my dude. I don't know how this AI thing is like, you have the title. You have it. So, I don't know. This game with the random generator type stuff can get a little out of hand. So we will change the venue. We'll go to the 500. And add entrance there, 2 minutes, add story beats, celebration. That, then entrance of Maciel. Seal and Dylan. There we go. So we have that. Workers. So then we have that going on. Gonna add a entrance of Eloise. Her to the celebration as well. And then we're gonna have Celia. And then also a War on Words. For that matter. So that's that. We will make a debut match with Iker. Sammy's going to be the guy. It's going to be a 10-minute match. Or maybe I will put Sun instead. So we will book that. So it'll be right there. Anthony Wilson and Max Grassi, we're gonna no, we'll add an angle. We'll do interviewee, and then we'll have King Khan do that. I'll be interviewed for 10 minutes or 5. Then just gonna do a promo. For the next 5. We're gonna do that. What else? What else can we do? Iker. We'll have add match Christian and Lewis. Put his title on the line. Sammy Andrews. 10 minutes. So we'll have that. Arabella. Do that. minutes. Look good. Contain a major spot. No titles on the line. 10 minutes. Show. 10 minutes for that. Need 5 minutes. ME. And she's been winning too. Could put her in a fatal 4-way. There, we'll do that. And we can add a video package for Iker. He's been doing pretty well. We'll do that for 5 minutes. There. Or do it like that. So we'll start the show. And we have this match brought it to another level. No injuries, the crowd were on their feet, so it was a good start. 42% crowd reaction, 76% with 3-star match, and 59% final score. We have Max Grassi having a 40% final score. Had an interview that was 50% and then 30% on his promo. 40% final score. Loyal game .1. This match was also on another level. We had a fatal 4-way with Arabella Baxter winning. And Samira Bayobaku was worse than usual, I guess. Big Spot had the crowd on their feet. Tegan was out of breath, but star power, intimidating presence, and stuff like that added to it, and doesn't say anything about Tegan was made to look good. So, but anyway. 57% crowd reaction, 2.5-star match, 68% match quality, and 63% final score. Then we have this 24% segment with basically the Dylan and Basile stare down at the Bryce and Ignacio because they won the championship, so they are going to go after the tag team champions. I guess the celebration was a 4%. That's so well. Then we have a debut of Moses Klein. We've had the video package for the last 2 months. Been giving him some boosts, and he the match was good, but could have been better with a bit more time to tell a story. Okay. So, all right. So with those video packages helped him, overall. So maybe if Hassan had some video packages, but, or if he cut a promo against Hassan, but it was more of Moses making a debut, so it's just kind of showing his dominance right there. 49% crowd reaction, 3.5-star match, 80% match quality, and 64% final score. Then we just have a video package with Iker Bianchi, 1.1 that he gained, and 57% final score. Then we got Celia and Eloise, with Eloise celebrating the achievement and then makes her entrance. Made it at 89, and then they have a verbal sparring match with each other to a 54% final score. And then we have a rematch with Christian Gaines versus Lewis Calling. Christian wins it. The intimidating presence of Christian added to the match. Sammy Andrews really helped and stuff, so I maybe should have put this as a storyline to make it best 2 out of 3. And Christian had it first, and then Lewis won it. And then now they put it again, and Christian Gaines won it back. So 28% crowd reaction, 1.5-star match, and 50% final score. And we got our 40, would have been a 57, and 0.2 we gained. So overall, I'm very pleased. The Moses was kind of a surprise with the response. And we got 119, so we got 1,700. So we are in the right track with going to the next building. And we will kind of look at the end of the month and stuff like that. Is this a push request? I'm gonna reject it for right now. What's this? Me, I'd love to work with. Except, because she's not really in a storyline right now. So that'd be perfect. Alright, the 1st of April, which is the perfect spot to end. You failed to meet the promise. That will hurt them. Okay. I think it was a push. And she's not going to get a title opportunity before that is over. So, and yeah, she'll have that match right there. So it's going to hurt me a little bit with that. I guess apparently someone's hurt with a hamstring injury. But anywho, we are going to look at this. So we have venue. It was negative 400 because that's how much it cost, and now it's negative 2,000 with the venue being a little bit bigger. So we are going to be in a little bit more debt, so to speak, but we are going to be moving in the right direction. It's not like I'm making big changes. I just added 2 more people that I thought were the perfect fit, and they are. And then we will add 1 more female, and that is it overall, because we don't need that much. Well, we added kind of 2. We added Moses, and then we added Ignacio because of the tag teams with Bryce Boyer and Ignacio. So that is the only reason why. Otherwise, I'd probably be removing Bryce then, to be honest, because of his only thing is kind of being a tag team competitor and not a singles. So overall, we got our 4 backstage staff. That's all we need. We got the 1 ref. That's all we need. And then just really kind of trying to max out these storylines of what we could do. And we have Luis and Celia at a 59%, so I think we may need to take that a break for right now. And kind of let that sit for a month and then get back to it, because sometimes when you do stuff repetitively, like month after month, then it kind of gets stale and the crowd doesn't like that. Like, I think it's happening right now with all this Anthony and Max Grassi stuff. So we'll kind of give that a little bit of a break. They just had a match. And Luis is the champion. And then Cecilia came out and kind of talked, and it brought it down to a 54%. So they were kind of up there, and then now it's we'll see what we can do to try to get it, because it's like that 80%, and then you can add the storyline, and that's where they're going to get that boost. So we're going to keep pushing, keep grinding, all that stuff, and hopefully you enjoy this episode, and have a good one.